Imagine a country with millions of people, a government, an army. And then, in just a few days, it's gone. During World War II, this happened way more often than you'd think. Some nations weren't slowly ground down in battle, they were swallowed whole at lightning speed. In this video, I'm going to take you through the most shocking, unexpected, and unbelievable takeovers of the Second World War. And make sure you stay until the end, because some of these countries lost their freedom faster than it takes to watch this entire video. Our story begins in 1939. On September 1st, without any warning, German forces pour across the border into Poland. But this isn't a normal war. Germany unleashes a terrifying new strategy, blitzkrieg or lightning war. First, aircraft hammer Polish airfields, communication centers and cities, sowing confusion and panic. Then, waves of tanks smash through the defensive lines, creating huge gaps. Right behind them, motorized infantry floods in, surrounding Polish units before they even know what's happening. Communication networks collapse. Chaos spreads like wildfire. The Polish army, brave as it is fighting a war from the past against a war from the future. And just when things couldn't get any worse, something almost no one saw coming happens. The Soviet Union invades Poland from the east. It's a secret deal made with Germany. Poland is now caught in a vice, crushed between two ruthless superpowers. Trapped, with no hope of escape or effective reinforcement from its allies, the country is dismembered. Within just a few weeks, the Polish state, a nation that had only regained its independence 2 decades earlier, effectively disappears from the map. It's a brutal, shocking demonstration of modern warfare and a dark omen for what's to come. 1 year later, in 1940, the unthinkable happens again. This time, the target is France, one of Europe's strongest military powers. The French feel secure, confident even. They have the Maginot Line, a massive chain of concrete fortifications and bunkers along the German border. They have a large, experienced army, and they remember the lessons of the First World War, a grinding war of trenches and attrition. They believe they are ready, but Germany has no intention of playing by the old rules. Instead of launching a costly head-on assault against the Maginot Line, German forces do something audacious. They pivot. The main armored thrust goes through the Ardennes forest in Belgium, a hilly, densely wooded region that French military command considered completely impassable. For a large tank army, it's a massive gamble, but it pays off spectacularly. German tanks emerge from the forest, completely bypassing the bulk of the French and British forces, and race towards the English Channel. Within days, German panzers are deep inside French territory, cutting supply lines and creating chaos. The Allied defense, which had been preparing for a slow, methodical fight, completely collapses. The speed is dizzying. The strategy is revolutionary. French and British soldiers are encircled, leading to the dramatic evacuation of Dunkirk. But for France, there is no escape. The government flees, and soon after, Paris falls without a fight. On June 22, 1940, after just 6 weeks of fighting, France officially surrenders. A global power, a victor of the First World War, is defeated in less than a month and a half. The world is stunned. If France could fall this quickly, who was safe? The Netherlands also hopes to stay out of the conflict. It had successfully remained neutral during the First World War and plans to do the same again. But neutrality offers no protection from bombs. On May 10, 1940, Germany invades. The Dutch army puts up a fierce, determined resistance, fighting for every inch of ground. But they are outmatched and overwhelmed. After several days of intense fighting, Germany decides to force the issue. The Luftwaffe is sent to bomb the historic city of Rotterdam, with the city centre left in ruins and thousands of civilians killed or injured. The message is brutally clear: surrender now, or more of your cities will suffer the same fate. Faced with the destruction of its urban centres, the Netherlands has no choice. 5 days! That's how long the country's resistance lasts. An entire nation forced to its knees in less than a school week. Meanwhile, in Northern Europe, Norway seems like an unlikely target. It's mountainous, sparsely populated, and far from the main theatre of war. But appearances can be deceiving. Norway's long coastline is vital for controlling the North Sea shipping lanes, and its ports are crucial for exporting Swedish iron ore, which fuels the German war machine. So, Germany launches one of the most daring and complex operations of the war. On April 9, 1940, they strike. It's a combined arms assault, perfectly synchronized. Warships sail into major fjords and harbors. Transport aircraft land at key airfields. And in a shocking new development, paratroopers are dropped directly into major cities like Oslo and Stavanger. Norwegian defenses are caught completely by surprise. Soldiers are literally appearing in the middle of their cities before a proper response can even be organized. It's one of the first times in history a country is attacked and captured this way. It's fast, it's modern, and it is absolutely terrifying. Despite brave resistance from Norwegian and Allied forces, Germany's bold move secures the country. The age of airborne invasions had begun, and in southeastern Europe, the evolution of warfare takes another dramatic leap. In Greece and, most famously, on the island of Crete in 1941, the world witnesses the first major airborne invasion in history. Instead of ships or tanks, the main assault comes from the sky. Thousands of German paratroopers, the elite Fallschirmjäger, literally fall from the clouds, descending upon airfields, towns, and key strategic points. Streets and olive groves instantly turn into chaotic battlefields. The fighting on Crete is incredibly savage and bloody. The Allied defenders and local Cretan civilians fight back with ferocious intensity, inflicting enormous casualties on the elite German paratroopers. In the end, Crete is captured by the Germans, but the cost is staggering. So many paratroopers are lost that Germany never again attempts a large-scale airborne invasion. The battle for Crete, while a German victory, shows both the potential and the terrifying price of this new form of warfare. Then comes June 22, 1941, the largest military gamble in history. Germany launches Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of the Soviet Union. This is blitzkrieg on an unimaginable scale. More than 3 million soldiers advance along a front that stretches for thousands of kilometers. Thousands of tanks roll forward, and thousands of planes dominate the sky. It is the largest land invasion ever attempted. At first, Germany seems utterly unstoppable. The Soviet Air Force is destroyed on the ground in the first few hours. Entire Soviet armies are encircled and annihilated. Hundreds of thousands of prisoners are taken. Cities fall one after another. It looks like the Soviet Union will collapse just like France did. But the Soviet Union is not France. The distances are vast and incomprehensible. The German supply lines stretch to their breaking point. And then the infamous Russian winter arrives. The cold is brutal, stopping tanks and freezing soldiers. The mud turns roads into impassable swamps. And most importantly, the Soviet Union refuses to surrender. They trade space for time, mobilizing their massive population and relocating their factories east of the Ural Mountains. What began as a lightning-fast takeover grinds into a brutal, attritional war. This campaign, designed to be over in months, becomes the bloody turning point of the war in Europe and the beginning of Germany's downfall. While Europe is engulfed in flames, a similar story of rapid conquest is unfolding on the other side of the world. The Empire of Japan is aggressively expanding its dominion across Asia and the Pacific, using their own version of rapid, coordinated attacks. Japanese forces achieve a stunning series of victories. In record time, vast territories fall: the Philippines, British Malaya, and the impregnable fortress of Singapore, the Dutch East Indies, modern-day Indonesia and Burma. The speed and success of the Japanese advance are shocking to the Western powers. And then comes the moment that changes everything. December 7th, 1941. With a surprise aerial attack on the US Pacific Fleet at Pearl Harbor, Japan brings the United States roaring into the war. The goal was to cripple American naval power in a single decisive strike, giving Japan a free hand to consolidate its new empire. But instead, it awakens a sleeping giant. The conflict is no longer a European or Asian war. It is now truly a world war. The Second World War wasn't just a slow, grinding conflict that lasted for years. It was defined by sudden, earth-shattering moments, by surprise attacks, bold gambles, and new technologies that changed the face of warfare forever. Some nations fell in weeks, others in just a matter of days. Each collapse was a tragedy that reshaped our world. Which of these rapid takeovers do you find the most unbelievable? Was it the fall of France, the airborne invasion of Crete, or something else? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe for more stories that your history books might not have told you this way. Thanks for watching.